And we repeatedly said here on For the People, as we are making victories overseas with Syria and Iraq, and we're chasing them out, and the caliphate has greatly diminished, they are going to be becoming desperate like hornets. And they will inspire with their Inspire magazine, and they'll inspire and radicalize people continually in this continually. They're going to continue doing this. And around the holidays, it seems to be very provocative for them to do this. So be on guard. And we need to do that, especially in New York City, but anywhere in this country, because they can use vehicles, they can use any means to do so. And America's still the number one target for these terrorists. So just be on guard. I am not surprised. I don't think most people in law enforcement are surprised. But a lot of terrorist attacks have been thwarted, thank God, in New York City, dozens of them, because of law enforcement officials. We're at over 30,000 law enforcement officials in the subways in New York City. Quite extensive. It's almost a city within a city. The subway system is ridiculous. The maps of the subway systems, it's so expansive. But that's the way to get around in New York City for sure. But if you want to have, well, it backfired on them. On the terrorist, yeah, he got it. It could have been a really bad deal, and it backfired literally on himself. This could have been bad, and they were able to minimize what would happen, and it was low tech. It wasn't very high tech, but sometimes low tech stuff can cause more damage. A little bit of sight this morning from the governor and the mayor there in New York City. This is what they had to say this morning.
All right, these are the preliminary facts. So it just happened a couple hours ago, so you have to understand these are preliminary facts. At approximately 7:20, in a below-ground walkway, which connects the I&D line at 4-2 and 8th Avenue with the IRT line at 4-2 and 7, and that's the shuttle at Times Square and the 1, 2, and 3 train, police were called to a reported explosion. Responding units found an injured 27-year-old male. We've identified him as Akayed Ullah, Akayed-Ullah. He had burns and wounds to his body. Preliminary investigation at the scene indicates this male was wearing an improvised, low-tech explosive device attached to his body. He intentionally detonated that device. Looks like there were 3 other people in the immediate area also sustained minor injuries, but Dan Nigro is going to talk about that. The subject was placed in custody and transported to Bellevue Hospital. Immediate police response to the scene included members of the Transit Bureau, Emergency Service Division, Bomb Squad, Counterterrorism, MTA Police, State Troopers, and the FBI's Joint Terrorist Task Force. In addition, the NYPD Strategic Response Group and Critical Response Command were assigned to other key transportation hubs in other locations throughout the city as a precautionary measure. This incident was captured on transit system video. A further review and interview of witnesses is underway. A thorough background investigation into Akayed Ullah is being conducted by the Joint Terrorist Task Force. We are asking anyone who may have any information about this individual or incident to call the terror hotline, and that's 888-NYC-SAFE. Just as the governor said, and as the mayor said, we are New Yorkers. We don't live in fear. If you see something that doesn't look right, you have an obligation to come forward, call 911, flag down a cop, and give us a chance to investigate it.
Yeah, they certainly did a great job, New York's finest. Kadad, I guess that's how they pronounce this guy's name. But it could have been really, really bad. And luckily, there's just minor damage to hearing and some minor burns and scrapes and stuff like that for 3 other. But this guy apparently suffered a lot of burns and a lot of, and we don't know the extent really of Kadad's condition, the 27-year-old Bangladeshi man who was inspired by ISIS to do this. And we don't know if more attacks are in the pipeline. There's no known threats, but there was no known threats for this one. So New York certainly on their guard. And when things like this happen, they take extra precautions. And this was caught on tape. A lot of people say, how could this happen? If you got that many police, it's so big. If you're in New York City, you would have to have a police officer every meter practically in the system, and that would be true everywhere. It's just there's only so much you can do at the end of the day. This guy got by, but we could see it backfired literally on him. He got hurt more than anybody did get hurt, and that's a godsend, and we can be very, very thankful for that. I'm Keith Allen, and you're listening to For the People. I am sad to say that this is going to be the last weekday program until a network radio station decides they like my quality of talk show, my brand of talk show, and it's been a little tough sell for a lot of the big networks to really even want me to be on their network filling in for some of the big stations here, even in the Tampa Bay market where I do the radio show. There's a station called 970 WFLA, and I used to work for Clear Channel. Used to work with Ted Webb, Jack Harris. I knew both of those guys very, very well when I worked in the building, and Ted Webb for many years. We've ran into each other, known each other, and I've been on in the market, but they want people to sit in that are already working for Clear Channel stations. So having my own brand, doing my own thing, very difficult to even get on other stations because they want their own people. So that's been increasingly a challenge when I talk to some of the syndicators in New York City that are very interested in what I'm doing, really like a lot of the work that I've done, a lot of the interviews. We've done some really amazing shows in 3 years, been privy to New York Times bestsellers, politicians, authors, stars, you name it. And it's just been challenging to be able to shop it to the places at the current design, if you will, the format of the radio show. And again, I wanted to help a friend 3 years ago, Chuck Harder, a guy who used to be a big deal in radio. We held each other's hand, got him back on, and I had no idea that he'd be off so quickly with health issues. And he's in a nursing home now in Gainesville, Florida. So where I pick up next, I don't know. Where I do know I will succeed is continuing on writing commercials, writing imaging. I've won awards with Jack FM out in California. I wrote stuff for Clear Channel Outdoors, won awards for my imaging. I do a lot of imaging for radio and television, and I do stuff for agencies around the country and continue to do a lot of voice work. So I'll continue on with my voiceover career. Would love to talk to America each and every day in a weekday format. So hopefully that'll reappear in another way. And the amount of support that's come on Facebook, my friends and family, listener friends all over the country with your kind words and advice and questions, hopefully we'll be able to answer a lot of those questions in the next hour that we have here. We're going to be on for 2 hours today. It's now 22 after the hour right now. Our number is 813-423-8255, area code 813-423-8255. If you'd like to dial up and say hello to us today, put you on the air. We'll talk. You don't have to give your last name. I'll just say, hey, Michael from Salt Lake City, Utah, wherever you might be calling in from. Love to talk to you. What does For the People mean to you? Why did you listen to For the People? You have any questions? 813-423-8255. Love to hear from you, America. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
It's unlike anything you've ever been through in your life, man. I was driving. This kid threw a grenade at us and went right over our vehicle. It was 12 years old.
The shockwave went through my head, rattled up my brain, and left.
Danger is around you 360 degrees at all times, and you can't unlearn that.
It's impossible to describe the sacrifices these men and women have made to protect our freedoms. And the job of rebuilding their lives is massive and growing every day. Many will need the programs offered by the Wounded Warrior Project for years to come.
I didn't know what PTSD was. All I knew was I was having nightmares. And when I got released, my reintegration was go check in at the VA, man.
My first coping mechanism was use drugs. Just numb it, don't feel anything.
I was angry. I'm trying to pull myself out of that right now.
Your gift today of $19 per month will honor and empower these veterans so they can aid and assist each other.
The Wounded Warrior Project is a life raft.
I can say this without question that I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for it.
Wounded Warrior Project is the first step, getting back out into the world and reforming yourself outside of the service.
Call or go online with a pledge of $19 a month. You'll receive this Wounded Warrior Project blanket, and your gift will provide critically needed programs that rebuild lives.
That was my first feeling of actually being a part of something bigger than myself again.
Well, I lost a few really close friends overseas, and if I quit, I'm going to let them down, and I'm not about to do that.
I'm learning to face my fears head on. To trust and see what happens at the end.
It's a long process, but I had the drive and desire.
Please call or go online with your gift right now.
For the people is there.
Your American heritage. When the giant liner Lusitania steamed out of New York Harbor in May of 1950, no one could foretell the significance of the voyage. Under the green depths of the Atlantic, German submarine Captain Schweiger took careful periscope aim and fired one torpedo. The Lusitania sank, losing 1,190 people, including 120 Americans. The nation was enraged by this murderous act and called for blood. President Woodrow Wilson withstood the pressure for 2 years, but when the Germans broke their pledge and resumed submarine warfare, he relented, and young America was plunged into World War I. This has been Don Keyes with a periscope view of another word picture on Your American Heritage.
And we've had a lot of fun playing these American Heritage series with Don Keyes, the late Don Keyes. It's been awesome.
Introducing the official For the People coffee mug featuring the colorful red, white, and blue For the People logo with Keith Allen on a ceramic 11-ounce coffee mug, perfect for any hot beverage of your choice. This mug is a great reminder of what we stand for: God, country, and family, with conservative values and good old-fashioned common sense. To order your For the People coffee mug, pay just $20 plus $3.99 shipping and handling at forthepeopleshow.com. That's forthepeopleshow.com. And enjoy.
It's an end of an era today on For the People. 813-423-8255. This is Making History, and this will be heard by thousands of people across the country. You'll be a star. 813-423-8255. If you're listening to the sound of my voice as we speak right now, last opportunity to speak to For the People live today, and a podcast that will reach thousands of people all over the country that will be looking for this broadcast and will be hearing this show. So if you'd like to say what Chuck Harder's meant to you or myself, either or, here's your opportunity to dial me up. If you've enjoyed my voice, Chuck's voice, our contribution to our country, would love to hear from you. If you're shy, I'll hold your hand. I'll ask some questions if you can't. But just call in. Don't be scared. 813-423-8255. And I know this is a little unusual for some of you because in the beginning, 3 years ago, we used to do a lot of calls. And I never wanted to depend on just phone calls or simply guest only. I always thought that if you were not interesting yourself, if you did not have much of a personality and you did not like your company, then and only then should you revert to those. And some people, they can't do a show without 3-4 people in the room because, they have to feed off everybody else's energy. And I get that. I do a good job and I have fun. I get slap happy when too many people are in the building. But there's something to be said about that. When you have that synergy, you got people that are around you every day. I mean, I remember that. Being in large broadcast centers and seeing the news department and all the activity and stuff that's going on in the building, it's really exciting. And I'm hoping and praying. I mean, we have, I got to tell you, one of the finest broadcast facilities that probably most likely rivals a lot of the radio stations that I've worked for in the past. It's all state-of-the-art, all digital. We raised some money several years ago for the control room. Some of you gave towards that and was just incredible. And I emptied out some of my savings too, a lot of it actually, for all new rack equipment and processing equipment, all the stuff that it just takes to have a great air chain, as the engineers call it. But it's complete